Ladies and gentlemen, this is your main event of the evening. Introducing from Bahasa Uptown, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, weighing in at 1 very, very sudden Singaporean trip. He is your fellow Uptown low life, Cornelius. Low. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Cafe Cornelius. How's everyone doing? How's my volume? How's my volume? Oh, just mute myself. No, I didn't. Once again, cables. As usual. So do let me know if I've okay. So welcome everyone to Intro to Professional Wrestling Storytelling. Yes, indeed, folks. I'm going to be talking about storytelling and professional wrestling. Yes, indeed, folks. Yes, indeed. Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Here, everyone. By the way, do you hear the BGM? The message from mods to see if they're available or not. Oh, yes, indeed. Okay. I think one of them, in fact, is present, I believe, doing behind the scenes work, I suppose. Okay, so my name, ladies and gentlemen, is Cornelius Low, professional wrestler turned butler, VTuber, at your service. I don't know if you heard that. I had to use an IRL belt here. Yes, I have an IRL belt here. And you will find out soon as to why that's the case. So yes, I am a professional wrestler turned butler VTuber. I do stuff like this. I know for all you folks that have been following me for a long time, you know that you've seen this video time and time again. I'll show you once we get to the next year. I'll have some new clips to show. You know, just to spice things up a little bit, eh? Spice things up a little bit. Okay. So today's stream is honestly it's almost gonna be borderline a bit of a Zatsudan stream because I'll be chatting about a very key aspect about professional wrestling. Actually, we'll see. We'll be looking at a couple of things, but for the most part, it'll just be me shedding light. I think that's a good word. Shedding light on a really important aspect of professional wrestling that in some ways can make or break professional wrestling. It is so when I say storytelling, yeah, it is exactly what you think of it is. It's storytelling, telling a story. Think of a movie, think of a theater, think of a TV show. You know, technically, pro wrestling is a TV show. Well, when it is allowed to be a TV show, when it's big enough to be broadcast on television or on streaming networks, that's that sort of a thing. In the sense, it's a show, and with a show, means that it's storytelling. So, okay, let's see. Let me see my little itinerary here. Okay, before I get to storytelling, I thought I could just update everyone on myself actually. Because the past couple of weeks actually has been a little bit of a roller coaster, actually. Jeez. So coming out of coming out of my Looniversary, my first ever VTuber anniversary stream, I was supposed to actually like begin begin doing all the batsus. Actually, I could show an image about that actually, if I could. So, for some context, in my Looniversary stream, I had to do like a lot of batsus, do I have an image of it here? I think this is one of it. Yes. Aha, yes. So this is like, as you can see, there's like literally 13 here. 13 batsus for me to do, and I've done some of it, but not all of it. And unfortunately, I'll explain why I'm not able to get to it right now. So the reason why I wasn't able to get to my batsus, to complete all of these batsus, they must be like, they're like my labors of Hercules in a way. One reason is because I was called up out of the blue to do a wrestling show in Singapore. Some of you might have known about it if you follow me on my socials. Actually, do I have a? Let me see if I can actually like grab a. I wish I prepared this sooner. Let me see if I can grab an image for you now. Let me see. Actually, I can just ask a particular someone. Oh, wait, do I actually have it already? Let me just check very quickly. Very quickly. Unfortunately. Okay. I know. Wait. So, as essentially, yeah, I'm I could call up do a very, very last minute wrestling show. How last minute? That show, which is called Graveyard Shift, so it's an independent wrestling show. So it's not even affiliated with any of the wrestling promotions. It's just one that is independently run by Dr. Gore, actually, who's a very notable professional wrestler in Singapore. He wanted to put on a very small scale, independently run wrestling show, and this was this was on a Saturday. I got the call for it on the Friday morning. So I had to be booked accommodations. I had to be booked transport. I had to pack my stuff. All in the span of a day. So I got to Singapore on a Saturday afternoon, on a fine Saturday afternoon. And I did the show on a Saturday night. So it was a little bit of a rush. I won't lie to you. Usually I'm asked for a booking 2 months in advance, 1 month in advance. A day before? I've not heard anyone do that before. I don't think so. I don't think so. And I'm actually, I was at first bewildered, but I'm actually really flattered because, put it this way, the context for me being, I was essentially a substitute wrestler. That's what I was. I was a substitute wrestler, and so it was already supposed to be someone named Bryson versus referee Ryan. Yes, that referee Ryan. This referee Ryan. Why is he not showing his name up on the chat? I don't know, but I know he's listening. So show yourself, man. So yes, let's see now. I know where to get now. Here we go. Okay, so yes, originally it was supposed to be referee Ryan. So it's supposed to be Bryson versus referee Ryan. They had a whole little thing where they have a bit of a beef, and in some ways, they're supposed to like speak of the devil. Welcome, referee Ryan. Well, hello there, Cornelius. Good evening to you, Don. How are you? Let's see now. I'm going to pull up. I'm gonna pull up an image. Let's see now. Let's see now. Here it is. Here it is. So unfortunately, Bryson at the time, he felt ill. Basically, he apparently had a high fever. Apparently not COVID, but serious enough to the point where it was better off that he didn't wrestle. You know. So referee Ryan was left without a wrestler, without an opponent. Dr. Gore chose me. Mind you, there are like 3 wrestling promotions in Singapore. 3 wrestling promotions. And he chose someone across the causeway? A foreigner. You know? And mind you, I'm being paid as well. You know, I'm legit being paid for this. And he requested for me specifically. So that's one of the factors as to why I chose this very, very sudden book. I was like really debating it as to whether to take it or not, because that would mean that I would have to, unfortunately, give up streaming on over the weekend. The opponent? Wait, what do you mean die in opponent? No one died. No one died. Bryson's still alive and well. Well, I hope he's feeling better. You know. So, and another reason, very simply, is that, well, I get to face off against referee Ryan, who is my moderator, and a referee who's refereed my match before. So a little bit of vengeance was at hand here. The chance at vengeance was there at hand here. Okay, let me show you. Let me show you. Is a poster in question. Here it is. Ooh, it's big. He's big. Ryan's alive and well. Good to know. Thanks for the update, Ryan. The opponent die? Well, referee Ryan is talking in chat right now. I don't think it's his soul typing on the keyboard. I think. Almost die? Well, you'll find out soon. So, yeah. An illness. Chalk it up. But definitely good enough. So I was really annoyed that I couldn't scream it all the entire laugh. I really I wanted to talk about this like practically last week. Cornelius, your voice getting lower and lower. Sorry about that. Yes, thank you. My microphone, yes. My cables. Okay. I'll have to head to the audio store and pick up some cables. Okay, unfortunately this stuff ain't cheap. But for you folks, I will do so. What a bother this is. Okay, so man, oh man. I won't lie. I was kind of frustrated that I couldn't do much for the past week. You know, everyone was like, it was literally Christmas Day. It was Christmas Day too. It was Christmas Day. I couldn't stream on Christmas Day. No, out of battery. No. I'm almost certain it's a cable issue where maybe the cables are a little bit loose on the mic or my cloud lifter, something like that. Hopefully, but again, hopefully it doesn't happen again. If it does, just let me know. Just let me know that my volume's getting lower or something like that. They'll give me a good heads up, and I can just literally squeeze the cable and Bob's your uncle. Like literally, that fixes the issue, at least temporarily. But now I'm a little bit better, and now I can finally get to what I want to get to, which is talking about storytelling. This was supposed to happen last week. Now I finally get to talk a little bit more about it. So just a bit of a disclaimer here, folks. Just a little bit of a disclaimer here, yeah? One more thing. Apologies. One more thing. You know what was also supposed to happen last week? Fixing my computer. So, to those who are wondering why I don't have my writing crop out, why I don't have like as many expressions as possible. I still have expressions here, Like I can smile, I can frown, I can squint a little bit, one eye open, that sort of thing. It's because one of my USB ports on my computer is, I think there's something wrong with it. Maybe it's a bit loose. What this basically means is that I was at one point where I was like, I couldn't even use a lot of my external devices, So I kind of rely on an external port actually to use a lot of my things. Like so, it's like I have a whole spaghetti thing going on my setup. So I was wondering what is going on, and I realized once I experimented a little bit here and there is that one of my USB ports is loose, nigh unusable, unfortunately. And so that means something has to be sacrificed. And unfortunately, what this means is that I can't use my Stream Deck. I kind of need to use everything else. So everything else, this would include things like, my mouse and keyboard. Heck, I even got myself a new fan, a new fan for my laptop. To cool things down. To cool my computer down, because I noticed that it gets pretty hot pretty quickly. So it gets really hot. I would say the past couple of months, but no issue yet. So that's why I got myself the fan. But now with the USB port issue, yeah, I wanted to send it. In fact, even before my Singapore trip out, which was 2 weeks ago. But because of the Singapore trip and because I fell ill, I couldn't go out at all. And now that New Year's is coming, and I've got some streams to do, I think I can only send my computer for repairs like next week. So likely next week, at least for like maybe the first couple of days of the new year, I will have to. There probably won't be any streams because I'll be sending my computer for repairs. Hopefully it won't take too long, and hopefully there won't be any issues either when I send it for repairs. Because now that I think about it, sending a computer for repairs does come with its own risks, so I might need to back up a few things as well. Oh, God, it's always a bit of a terrifying thing, sending your computer for repairs. Yes, the USB getting loose. So unfortunately, that means that I can't use my Stream Deck. I would love to plug in my Stream Deck into the USB port, into that loose USB port, but it literally would not work. And it can't be. And my Stream Deck, so something that a lot of folks aren't aware about. The USB Stream Deck has to be plugged into like the main port, one of the main ports of your computer itself. Cloudy Wind, hello there, welcome. Good evening to you, Cloudy Wind. Cloudy Wind here is a fellow VTuber. So please say good evening to her, Vrilo. So I was just mentioning about how I can't use my Stream Deck because of a loose USB port. So you can't plug your Stream Deck into like an external port, a USB port. Unfortunately, I think it needs a lot. It needs like the source energy basically from the computer. That's how I see it. So that basically means I can't use my toggles. Luckily I can still actually like move around pretty good and stuff like that. But I can't like zoom, I can't zippily do that as much as I want. And I definitely can't use all my expressions. I can't use all my items. I mean, I could set it with like some hotkeys here and there, but there's a reason why I got myself a Stream Deck. Because I've got a lot of toggles. Lots and lots of toggles. I was very blessed and lucky to get a lot of toggles, but that basically meant that I almost needed a Stream Deck to run it all. Nope, sorry about that. No more. If you type in voice, I do not understand the context. No matter how many times, even if you just type in voice, I don't get the context at all. You have to mention like I can't hear you, lost your voice, because you just say the word voice. I don't understand what you mean. No, sorry. Tape those cables up, man. No. No, that's not how this bloody works, Nomu. I'm sorry, okay? Maybe in the next few days I can hit to you know what? Fuck it. I'm actually going to go to that store right now. Let's see what's it called. Oh, okay, I just remembered it. How much are the cables that I get? Because I get very particular cables. And mind you, these are good cables as well, okay? Okay, I'm using literally professional equipment for you folks. Okay, let's see. XLR cables. No, doesn't have to be that expensive. What was it called again? These. What's the brand called? Right. Okay, let's see now. Okay. Okay, there's a particular brand I use. Let's see, how much is this thing? Let's see. Oh, come on. It's not in stock anymore? What? They're not being in stock. Oh, for Pete's sake, are you kidding me? Okay, hold on. No, again, Nomu, that's not how this works. You can't tape it up. I literally fixed the issue by pushing it in. That tape doesn't work on that. I don't think tape is applicable here. Tape fixes a lot of stuff, but not this. Come on, where are those cables at? So please do not argue with me on this anymore, Nomu. Just inform me when my voice goes out. What's the brand? Let's see. Is it this one? No, it can't be that one. Hold on. Okay. Oh, thanks, guys. Now you're putting me into a. Now you're getting me paranoid about my XLR cables now. Oh, jeez. Yes, folks, we are taking on a tangent about XLR cables now. Good job, guys. Good job. Let's see. Where is it? No. Oh, come on. Let's see. Where is it? What was the ones that I used? It was such a bother. Okay. They don't really have my cables anymore. Oh, bother. Okay. No. Were they about 80 ringgit? My cables? Were they about 80 ringgit or cheaper than that? Yeah, maybe around 80 ringgit. Yep. Yes, folks, I use cables that might be around 80 ringgit. Maybe I can get away with it. I am headed to the audio store for to get a particular something. But I won't say what it is, but I might have to add XLR cables into the shopping list as well. Just because, yeah, I can see that this is a bother, so I might as well fix it. Okay, now where was I? Yes. Talking a little bit about not XLR cables. About storytelling. So a disclaimer, folks. A disclaimer, yeah. So obviously, so yes, I am technically a trained professional wrestler. Yes, I do have a lot of experience. However, all that I'm about to say concerning storytelling and professional wrestling comes from my own perspective, and comes from my own training. I'm not someone that has been in a WWE system or a major wrestling company. I'm an independent wrestler in Southeast Asia, for God's sakes. So I know a thing or two, but maybe I can get some stuff. So I do think that what I say should be applicable, but don't take my word to heart over it. And more importantly, whatever I say, try not to use it as as fuel for fire to debate to debate online and stuff like that. Like, don't quote me. Don't quote on me. Okay. Like, Twitter can be very fun, and Twitter can get you up to date with a lot of stuff, but be careful about pro wrestling social media. It's toxic fast. So I'm doing I'm one of my reasons of even doing Intro to Pro Wrestling is to actually talk to you guys about pro wrestling. Chat with you guys. This is your chance to talk with someone who has actual experience about it. But I'm saying all this disclaimer, just as a little bit of a safety net, just in case, So you don't have to take my word on complete heart on it. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay, hold on. Okay, so let's start things off, folks. So, yes, folks, there is storytelling in professional wrestling. This might surprise you, considering that professional wrestling can very often look like a bunch of meatheads whacking each other. And there's a lot of nonsense happening in the ring. Whether it's just a classic 1v1 match, or maybe there's a dumpster being thrown at someone, or maybe there's someone bleeding, or maybe there's someone literally getting tossed from the top of the cage and smashing onto someone at the bottom of the cage. So all that may seem like it's quite mindless. All that seems like it's it's just carnage for carnage's sake. I think I was a younger lad. I might have even perceived it as so to some extent. But storytelling is a true bedrock in professional wrestling. You see all these incredibly jacked athletes. You see all these you see all male or female doing some incredible stunts, whether they're calculated, whether it just seems outright reckless. There's an element of storytelling in all of that. There really really is. I can tell you from my own training is that I began learning about storytelling almost from day one, actually. Because guess what, guys? This is showbiz, okay? Pro wrestling is very much showbiz. A lot of it is based in combat, yes, but a lot of it is very much stylized for showbiz. It's like stunt acting IRL. That's one way to look at pro wrestling. There's also a way to look at it. Like literally, like when somebody's actors. Hello, we're actors, okay? So, okay, how about I actually show you an example of storytelling? Oh, just I'm gonna have to do this, see? This example of me having to adjust manually. Oh my god, this stinks. I have to do this manually, man. Okay. Ryan, get ready to link that link on chat, because I am about to show you my match versus referee Ryan. It is in Graveyard Shift, which happened about 2 weeks ago. And it was actually live streamed. Did you guys catch it? We're gonna watch it again. And I'm using this match as an example of storytelling. However, just to note, folks, unfortunately, this was like Dr. Gore's first ever time organizing his own wrestling show. So the audio quality of it is unfortunately not really good at all. Okay, so there's a lot of parts where like it's either muted or the audio peaks so bad that the audio is completely distorted. So I'm gonna have to put the audio on very low, just to save everyone's ears. So I will talk through you in certain parts that needs to be talked through. But otherwise, you should be able to understand what the story is about just by watching it. And yes, folks, so I'm showcasing this particular match in particular, partially because yes, I'm in it, but also because I think it's a good example. It's a good clear-cut example of there being some of there being a storytelling. So let me show you. Okay, I'll turn this off. Let's see. I will put this a little bit lower. We're gonna skip the beginning part. I'll put this really low for you guys because I know this is gonna be very loud in some parts. Okay. Let me actually get the link for you. Let me actually grab the link for you. Okay, so the event is called Graveyard Shift, and yes, folks, this is another match show. Match show. So, like I said, small scale show, decent sized audience though. So this was actually so fun fact about this place is that this was located in the Peace Center. This is located in the Peace Center in Singapore. It's actually an abandoned building actually. Set for demolition fairly soon-ish. So what they did was is that there's like a community outreach program where they sort of turned the whole place into like a bit of a bazaar, like a bazaar situation where there was people could sell their clothes. There was actually even like a place that was selling wine. And yes, there was even a spot, an open space where you could do a wrestling show. If I'm not wrong, this space is like formerly an MMA gym. I think. That's why there's all those beams up there to hang like heavy bags. So as you can see, yes, this is very much wrestling at its most like basic and independent and small scale. And fun fact, those mats that you see there, think of the match that you rest that you see is that's placed outside the ring. That's what those are. No fun working on those. That's for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. Okay, so referee Ryan versus Cornelius Lowe in graveyard shift. Oh yeah, there's some weird thing happening here because I decided to go topless in this match, and there were like some younger kids over there that were like a little bit like confused and shocked that a wrestler is willing to go topless in this show. And mind you, we were the opener too. Okay, this is the first match of the show, and yes, that's Ref Ryan. That is your referee over there, wrestling in his referee outfit. Here's me jostling for position. Referee Ryan doing a little bit of his own technical wrestling stuff. Here I am countering. And in case if it's not obvious here, so he can actually like do like an equivalent to a rope break if he were to touch like the shoes of the audience member. Oh, okay. So the there's some classic technical wrestling here. Oh, but he's pressed my back of the knee down and goes into a headlock. Very, very sly of referee Ryan. Here I am trying to do a pin. And I sort of like struggled my way out. Struggled my way out of it. And yes, folks, if you're wondering why you hear completely no sound at all, it's because for a portion of this video, it is muted. Like I said, this was their first event, you know? This was literally their first event. So we were speeding up a little bit. Referee gets the pin on me. And I basically get so frustrated that I go for the pin on the ref. And there must have been some confusion. So I get angry at my opponent here. I get angry at my opponent here for doing some weird thing. You know, what's going on? Why is my opponent becoming that opponent? The referee Ryan has to tell me that no, you're wrestling me, but you're the referee, so I'm confused. So he takes off his top, gives it to that referee. I'm like confused. He grabs my head to really like clarify to me. I am wrestling him, Ryan, not that guy, not that referee, but referee Ryan. So we give the thumbs up. Clear, okay? And I treat him as the opponent that he is. So I decided to do a little bit of work on him. And yes, it really is that quiet. Okay, I'm literally gonna have to like manually do some audio stuff here, because again, a lot of the audio is really messed up in this. If you wonder what happened there, I'm literally smashing his head onto one of the poles there that you see the blue side. Now on the right side, he really got thrown for a loop there. So here I'm putting on a tight cravat on the lad. Oh yeah, and just to like add salt to the wound, I'm also like antagonizing the online crowd here as well. Ah man, I wish there was audio because that kick echoed through that. I gave him a good hard one on the back. So safe to say, referee Ryan, maybe a bit more than he could chew against yours lowly. No, but he's fighting back. He's fighting back. He's not completely out of this just yet. Oh, but I put him in a classic wrestling maneuver, the abdominal stretch. Oh, even crank on his neck as well for good measure. So now he's going to try to grab a shoe to get the count. He grabs it. Okay, refs does a count. 3, 4. I let go because I want to follow the rules. I don't want to get disqualified. So I keep on the pressure on him. But that seemed to piss Ryan off. There might have been a mistake by me. Now I'm antagonizing further. Ooh, he lands a surprisingly good one on me. I'll admit that. I was low-key impressed with his strikes, actually. Oh, I felt that one. He's only slightly larger than me, but he's doing well. He's doing well for himself. But I keep the pressure up. Oh, now I've got the advantage here. And doing an enziguri, I miss. I wanted to land on him so badly. Oh, he hits me so hard that he actually drops it. I'm totally dazed here. And he does his signature wheelbarrow stunner. That borderline knocked me out. I was told backstage that he did hit the mat for a third time, but clearly that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case, actually. No, I don't think he hit the mat at all for the 3. I definitely kicked out at 2. No, I have my instincts for these things. After all. Crowd clearly in favor. Everyone tries to do it again. Oh, I shove him away. Discus. Forearm. Oh, nasty. Pick them up. I haven't done this move in a while. The low breaker. Go for the pin. But he kicks out. Oh, he's still fighting back, though. However, the third punch, I grab it. As above, so below, straight jacket DDT. 4D, 1, 2, 3. Short but sweet match. And of course I have to gloat to you folks. Of course I have to. But yes. But yes indeed. So yes, apologies folks. Like I said, barely any usable audio in that match. Sad? No, happy. What do you mean sad, right? I won! Rejoice! Obviously, I can see why you are sad. You lost. You got knocked out, brother. Like, I put away people before with my low breaker before, with that maneuver. I'm literally crashing your head on my knee. But you kicked out of that. I'll give you that. And did you wrestle? Yes. Did you tell a story alongside me? Absolutely. In fact, folks, and Ref Ryan, you shouldn't be answering this, yeah? But what do you think was the story? What did you think was the story in all of that? Do tell. Like, so when I say story, like, what do you think was like the premise of it? That sort of a thing. Could you spot what it was? Like the overall arching theme? What's like the through line? What's like the commonality? What story are we telling? Could you tell? Could you tell what it was? Could you tell what it was? Because we definitely right now we definitely had a particular thing in mind actually, and everything is sort of linking back together in a way. You might think that the opening part, the opening segment of us like doing the Spider-Man meme thing, that was just for shits and giggles, but there was a point to that, you know. There really was a point to that. Could you guys tell? Could you guys tell? So essentially, the story of all that. Oh, actually, let me actually hit back up here. Oopsie. The whole story was that this was that referee Ryan perhaps a bit more than he could chew, especially since he was a referee. So he bit more than he could chew as a referee turned wrestler. We sort of established the fact that there was a bit of an identity crisis thing happening early on, with him with me being confused as to who's the wrestler, who's the referee, and him having to insist that he wants to be the wrestler. So when he gave that thumbs up and I gave the thumbs up and then I gave him that sudden elbow strike, that's when it turned on. That's when we sort of got the story really going there. So this match was very much Ref Ryan improving ground, so to speak. That's sort of like the overarching story, that the referee Ryan had to go through some proving grounds to prove that he could wrestle, you know. Because yes, those who are maybe a bit confused by that, it is very exceedingly rare for a referee to be also wrestling. Exceedingly rare. In fact, referee Ryan's the first I've heard of it, of a referee turned wrestler. Like the balls of my moderator, for Pete's sakes. Okay, let me look at what else in my notes. So therein lies the importance of storytelling in professional wrestling. Because unlike like let's say here's a good comparison. Unlike an IRL combat sports match, MMA, boxing, kickboxing, blah blah blah. What they're not doing a story. They are actually competing, you know. And professional wrestling, yes, we do want to have a level of believability in our shows, like, you know, our strikes need to be really laid in. It's our job to make you believe that what we're doing has a lot of impact to it, you know. We make you guys care about us. We're not trying to win a match. We're trying to tell a story and entertain you guys at the same time. So therein lies actually the really big difference between combat sports and professional wrestling. We have more in relation to, let's say, musical theater or performance wushu, like a karate show, you know, where they do all the fancy kicks and stuff like that, than the combat sports. So we're trying to tell a story here, actually, because obviously there's some stuff that we do that's very much stylized, and to bring all that stylistic combat together is a story. And honestly, the stories in professional wrestling, it can range from stuff that's maybe a little more complex to stuff that's just really basic. Like a really basic story is who hits harder. That can be a story. That is literally the premise of some matches. Who's the harder hitter? In my match versus Ryan, is Ref Ryan is trying to prove that he could wrestle. Another common story trope is a wrestler comes in with his arm clearly injured, and his opponent is going to target it. You know, stuff like that. You could also make the argument that, like, in combat sports, you know, they might go in with a strategy. that sort of a thing. But that's not story. That's not really storytelling. That's just a strategy, a game plan. They're trying to win a match, but we professional wrestlers are trying to tell an entertaining story. And obviously, there are some matches where it's less storytelling centric, and more just about the flips and stunts. And that can be all right as well. But I can almost guarantee you that even those matches where there's a lot more stunts going on, a lot more high flying stuff, high chance there's still a story. There's still a story to tie everything together. Do you guys have any examples of storytelling in matches, actually, in pro wrestling matches? Do you guys have anything like that? You guys have anything like that? Are there any examples I could give? Oh, a really easy one, I suppose, is like a grudge match. Yeah. Like a grudge match. Maybe someone in the past did this wrestler wrong, and this wrestler wants revenge on this wrestler. So they end up in like a hardcore match to really settle matters, and for that one wrestler to get revenge. See, that's literally a story there. That's literally a story there. And all that I've been saying is in the context of something that's within a match. However, if you look at WWE, AEW, all these bigger companies, half the time they're not even showing off matches, are they? It's going to be something like promos, vignettes, that sort of a thing. Because the storytelling does not stay within just a wrestling match. That's part of it. That's also the drama that happens outside of the wrestling match, In fact, for a pro wrestling match, that it's got a very, very particular way we go about it. There's something what we call I don't mind giving this away for the simple reason that this has been talked about a lot already. Okay, I am not going to be the first streamer, content creator that has talked about this at all. And everyone knows it, and everyone knows wrestling is public. It's public knowledge now that wrestling is a show. Anyone who still thinks it's quote unquote real, I don't think they should be. I don't think they are of sound mind to use smartphones. Okay, to those folks that still think it's real, yeah, they need to be put into bed. They need to be put into bed, get an early rest, and they should not be allowed smartphones. No. So I'll just touch a little bit. I'll just touch very briefly on this because I don't want to. Because I want to say this is not something that you guys don't really have to know. So we have a match structure. Traditionally, and there are obviously some variations. There is such a thing as a traditional match structure. So it is basically what we call opening, shine, cut off, heat, hope spot, false finish, and finish. I'm not going to cover exactly what all these are, but essentially, this is almost like as a traditional story narrative arc. It's almost like a story arc. Okay, think of a story like the one that that is obviously always taught, and it's a big foundation to a lot of stories. That's what's taught in almost any fictional writing workshop, is that there is exposition, okay, and then there is what was it called? There's like a not a twist, but there's a catalyst that happens that changes like the status quo, okay, and then there is the rising and then there's like the rising action, and then there's the climax of the story, and finally the resolution of the story. I believe I got that right. It's been a while since I looked at the traditional story structure. Let me look at that. Yes. Some of you might know it as like the hero's journey, but I'm referring more to the narrative structure. Yes, this is the term I'm looking for. So it's exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution, and resolution. So, exposition, rising action, climax, falling action, resolution. What I just said is very, very similar to the classic match, to a match structure. So yes, folks, there is a story arc in every match. In fact, what you just watched with Mia versus Ryan, that had a story structure to it. You know, there was the opening bit. There was a rising action where things are heating up. There's the climax of the action, and finally the big finish to end it all. Heck, there's even a bit of a resolution actually, a post-match even. So as you can see, there's genuinely storytelling happening here. So yes, folks, we do actually like. So there's a surprising amount of care and crafting that goes into this. Like you know, so yeah, we're not just blindly fighting each other. Okay, there's a point to all that we do. You know, and like everything is done by design in some ways. You know, and obviously, just like movies. Wrestling has tropes as well in the storytelling, you know? Can you tell who was the good guy, who was the bad guy in my story versus referee Ryan? Who was the good guy, who's the bad guy? It should be obvious, even without the audio. What our roles were. Like when you see how referee Ryan moved versus how I moved, it should be pretty obvious that I was like the bad guy and he was the good guy. Also, as on a side tangent, wrestling is one of the very few entertainment. Oh. Oh, sorry. My voice went missing again. There we go. I think that fixed it. So yeah. So that was my role to play, and I played it to the best of my ability. And so did Ref Ryan actually. So we were playing our parts in the story, and so what I'm getting at is that wrestling is one of the very few forms of entertainment media where the bad guy actually regularly wins. More often than not, the bad guy usually wins. Actually, it's kind of crazy when we think of a story of like, you know, TV shows, movies. Usually the good guy comes out on top. Or maybe the bad guy does win, but maybe like, you know, in the mid-season finale, or but the series finale, the end of the movie, usually the bad guy doesn't really win. In wrestling though, common occurrence for the simple fact that well, you know, you gotta have some levels of suspense. And it is very much, and because we are presenting ourselves as a competitive show, you know, we are trying to showcase a simulated fight. So therefore, it's still a fight. Therefore, sometimes the bad guy can win, and sometimes the bad guy has to win in order to further progress the story. Where it makes more sense for the bad guy to get the win, you know. So yeah, it's one of the very few medias where potentially the bad guy could win in every part of the event. I'm sure there has been events where like the bad guy won almost every match in a show. Potentially. So yeah, that's a really, really interesting part of professional wrestling. And as I've noted just now, the storytelling in a pro wrestling show does not have to be just contained in the match itself. There are matches, especially I'm going to say the ones that are more in Japan and Mexico, where the focus is almost more about the in-ring work. But yeah, maybe there is storytelling that is contained within the match, and there has been some analysis, literally there has been analysis videos made about this, where the storytelling extends into a series of matches. Like the one that I can really think of right now is the whole saga of Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada in New Japan Pro Wrestling. New Japan Pro Wrestling is the world's largest Japanese wrestling promotion, and the saga of Kenny Omega versus Kazuchika Okada is it spanned 4 matches. So if you watch it back to back, you can actually see how there are callbacks, how they allude to certain things. From one match to another, where they're changing things up in a way, where you can see how they're countering the counters. New Japan is a great example of the storytelling that is contained within the match itself. This is in contrast to something like WWE and AEW, American wrestling promotions, where in some ways the storytelling happens outside of the match first. This could be in the form of it could happen with promos, it could happen with backstage segments, it could happen with vignettes. So these are some storytelling devices that's very unique to professional wrestling. So much so that in some ways combat sports is actually copying a good bit of what pro wrestling does for the combat shows. Like if there's a chance to do interviews, there's a reason why MMA fighters they are supposed to go through a media scrum. They want to the media wants their thoughts on the upcoming fights. It's to sell the intrigue. It's to get people hyped up for a show, and that is exactly what we do with these backstage segments, promos, vignettes, interviews. Because the whole point of this is to put butts in seats, right? So we want to get people intrigued in us before the bell even gets rung, Before the bell even gets rung. So for that to happen, we got to go for... We sometimes have to do stuff even before the match even starts. I'll actually show an example right now, I'll show an example right now. Oh, shushu. Okay, so here it is. You've probably seen this before.
Christmas has come early for your fellow uptown lowlife. And his gift? The Butcher Man at long last.
So, I'm telling a story right here. This is a fairly extended promo, I suppose. So the whole point of this basically here is for me to just give a little background and to create intrigue for my match against the Butcher Man in Champions Quest.
I made my debut in Singapore. One of my opponents in that match was the Butcher Man. I will admit, he was the better wrestler that
As you can see, I am essentially acting.
Put me through a table, and he paraded that clip of me getting smashed through the table over and over and over again. He made it.
So you see all those little bits of details here and there.
My expense.
Deliberate
Long last
storytelling, baby.
my retribution and champion's quest. I know all of you are doubting this lowly one. How can that vicious man animal? How can I measure up to him? Do you think I'm not vicious? I prove to each and every one of you that I am just.
I deliberately wanted this promo to be a little bit longer than usual, than what I usually do, just to really sink things in.
I'm sorry, Raj. What did you just say?
But Mr. Low, don't you pride on yourself for being a strategist and not savage?
I choose.
Ooh, that's loud.
Man, I will indeed bring my technical marvel as well as my vicious savagery against the Butcher Man because I want to.
Ooh. Ooh.
What you made me do, Raj?
Yeah, Raj. Yeah, Raj.
Clean this up. Go in more important details.
Questioning me like that.
Oh.
So there's an example, folks, of storytelling that happened outside of a match. Oh, man. Poor Raj, what about poor me? You accuse me of I can't be vicious. Well, you know I can be vicious. No, isn't that right, Ryan? Isn't that right, Ryan? Isn't that right, Ryan? I just realized I am technically, I no longer have someone to manage anymore, which is unfortunate. I really do want to. I really did enjoy that position, you know. But Ryan, someone like a light bulb moment happened here, you know. I might hit you up later, Ref Ryan. My dear moderator / wrestling referee Ryan. But indeed. So yeah, that's an example of storytelling outside of a pro wrestling match, but still within the pro wrestling context, a cinematic universe, so to speak. I suppose. I mean, put it this way: there's a reason why WWE spends so much time focusing on backstage segments, promos in the crowd, doing vignettes. It is to basically get to people to care about the characters, about the wrestlers, as opposed to the wrestling. That's actually one big reason that we focus on storytelling. Actually, is for folks to care about the wrestlers as opposed to the wrestling. I'm not saying the wrestling can't be good. I'm not saying the wrestling can't look cool and all that. In fact, it is for a lot of folks. It's great for you to focus on the wrestling, actually, especially when starting out as a trainee. But pro wrestling companies want to market their brands, and for them to market their brands, their talent has to be marketable, and that means they have to be interesting. They can be put into situations where they can tell stories outside of just a match, where you're intrigued by what they do, or maybe horrified by what they do, or you are inspired by what they do because of their character, because of the stories that they are involved in, you know? I mean, case in point right now, one of the most intriguing things in professional wrestling right now, one of the big storylines is, who is the devil? Who is the devil? I'm not saying in a biblical sense. I'm talking about who is the guy wearing the MJF devil mask? Like, even MJF wants to know as well. He's being haunted by this guy wearing the devil mask, and he's got like goons doing the guy doing this man in the MJF mask on his he's doing his dirty work. MJF himself is trying to find out who in the world it is, and it is eating into him. He's accusing a lot of people, so it's setting up a lot of storylines as a result. There's a bit of a mystery happening, you know. So now folks are just really so that can suck people in, you know. So yes, the wrestling is absolutely still really good, but the storytelling is what makes people care about the wrestlers. This is something that's actually been taught to me very early on. I'm glad that I actually like learned this really early on and took to heart really early on. Wrestling is cool, but it's more important for folks to care about the wrestlers, whether they want to boo them, whether they want to cheer for them, whether they are intrigued by them. It is almost more important for a wrestler to make sure that you are able to get a reaction. You're able to hold their attention, and part of that means being a good storyteller. As in, like, we're using our bodies to tell stories here. Our moves are our words. Okay, a novelist uses words to write out his prose. A professional wrestler uses his moves to express a scene. To heighten the scene, to deflate a scene, to tell a specific moment, you know. So a musician would use his guitar to play an arpeggio. A professional wrestler will put himself into a cool, exciting sequence to highlight maybe the dangers of going up against this particular opponent, or maybe he wants to like chase after and further work on this person's arm. And even the moves themselves can be used as storytelling devices, you know. Like, for instance, Kenny Omega's One-Winged Angel is famous for almost no one kicking out of it. Almost no one kicks out of the One-Winged Angel. There have been close calls. Like, for instance, Kazuchika Ogata famously did not kick out of it, but he could get the rope break because he placed his foot on the rope, thusly stopping the 3 count. So that sort of stuff, fans do take note of. There's a reason why I'm emphasizing so much on storytelling, because guess what, guys? You, the fans, take note of this. Actually, you guys take note of this, because that's how we all work. We're looking for all these little details and piecing the puzzle together to better understand why this happened, why that happened. Maybe there's something early on in the match that I did that resulted in the finish of the match. Maybe there's something there's like a detail that happened early on in the match that actually is like acts like a Chekhov's gun. That's like a foreshadowing, and you see it being paid off later in the match, or maybe not even later in the match. It could be like after the match. It could be maybe a whole episode later, you know, that kind of a thing. That kind of a thing indeed. And that's something actually a little bit difficult to learn a little bit for someone in the independent levels, because there is a difference between how a bigger company operates and how an independent wrestling company operates. So so I know it looks like I'm veering away from storytelling, but I really am, and that is because of almost like priority. An indie wrestling show, not to say that they can't do storytelling, but it's a little more difficult. It's a little more difficult. In order for like, let's say, because we to do a weekly show is really, really hard. Okay, really, really hard. You have to like be a massive company to be able to pull off weekly shows. And so weekly shows, just like a TV show, like an episodic TV show, you can be brought back up to speed very quickly. Either with a recap or maybe the wrestler will just like talk a little bit about what happened last week, that sort of a thing. For me, for my little story arc with Raj, that was like a monthly thing. So I had to talk a little bit about what happened in my promo itself, actually. So, so we have to approach storytelling differently between a small promotion and a larger promotion. A larger promotion can get away with it, almost like a weekly television show where things are episodic, they're serialized. For indie wrestling, that's kind of why like storytelling is a little bit more de-emphasized in what I'm gonna say. No, storytelling is not de-emphasized in an independent wrestling show. It's just that it's more contained. Yes, that's the word, contained. Usually contained in a match itself. Maybe there could be a promo. There could be a promo here and there to shed the light on certain things and to paint the scene a little bit better. But for the most part, it's more self-contained. Obviously, there are exceptions to that. Just like the shows that I was in, leading up to Champions Quest, I had a lot of. There was a reason why I did a lot of promos, in order to promote the show and to further the storyline between myself and Raj. So it is still possible, just a lot more difficult with smaller scale shows. For example, in Graveyard Shift, that it was a show on a mat, and it is very much just in some ways a standalone episode. So everything has to be self-contained. There were no promos leading up to it, so the storytelling could only happen within the match itself. And here's the most intriguing thing about professional wrestling: when reality intersects with the storytelling. This is the really spicy part about professional wrestling, because what we do is dangerous. What we do does affect our human body, sometimes our human mind and soul. In fact, sometimes reality can get in the way of storytelling. A novelist, a scriptwriter, he writes out his prose, he writes out the script. Everything is self-contained there. Your blueprint is there. But in professional wrestling, sometimes people get hurt. Sometimes things just happen where, maybe for whatever reason, that wrestler that was heavily involved in a match, an upcoming story arc even, might be missing in action completely for whatever reason, and he's no longer in the picture. The story will then have to change as a result. It has to change as a result, just because what can you do? What can you do? What we do is a live show here. So unless if so maybe it's possible, let's say if one of the wrestlers involved was a masked wrestler, okay, maybe we can just put another wrestler in that mask. But even then, that could be a bit spicy to deal with. So pro wrestling, almost more than any other entertainment format, the storytelling has to be very organically driven. Because it's not even like let's say if this act, because sometimes an actor, they do something maybe a bit sussy and they get replaced or they get downplayed in the movie sequel. But sometimes the wrestler can be the main character and stuff. So you might need to find a new main character, So a lot of things get. So storytelling in professional wrestling, it has to be almost like very organic, because of sometimes unfortunate circumstances can happen where you have to replace certain wrestlers with this and that. So if you try, so what I'm getting at is that if a booker of a promotion has a very particular story arc in mind, and he's not willing to be flexible about it, he could face some real heartache, because if one of his major players is gone, then not only are you missing someone who can't progress the story, you're missing like one of the key components of the upcoming match that is leading up. That is like the big payoff essentially to the big story arc, you know? So you have to be able to be almost flexible about it. And that's something I'm not going to touch on right now. Booking a match, because booking a show is different from storytelling in pro wrestling. So booking in pro wrestling, so when I say booking, that almost means like organizing the show. It is very similar, but not exactly the same thing as storytelling in professional wrestling. There's a lot intersecting there, between booking pro wrestlers and storytelling in pro wrestling. But there are two different things. I may actually just cover a pro wrestling, a booking in pro wrestling in another episode all together. Yeah. Yeah, that about covers it. Actually, that about covers it. You guys have any questions about storytelling and pro wrestling? Heck, do you guys have any questions about pro wrestling in general? Feel free to ask. Feel free to ask me, folks. Okay. In the meantime, let's see now. Okay, let me see if I can show you guys a little something to get you guys hyped up for the upcoming stream. Aha, here we go. Okay, folks. As you can see here, folks, the next stream is upcoming Friday morning for Square Circle Baseball episode 18. And this isn't Friday morning because 2 out of 3 of my participants in this one are in North America. So for them, it'll be like Thursday night instead. So yes, another one featuring mostly participants mostly from North America. I'm really looking forward to this one, folks, because if you follow me on Twitter, you would have seen that, and to those who are eagle-eyed will have noticed that the 3 participants in the upcoming Friday episode, they are for the first time ever. These 3 participants are the exact same from a previous episode. I think episode 3 or 4, something like that. The exact same person. So the exact same cast is coming back. Talks, welcome back. Welcome to Cafe Cornelius. Unfortunately, I kind of already wrapped up my little chat about storytelling in professional wrestling. Long story short, it is a low-key very important part about professional wrestling that can make or break a professional wrestler. And we put in a surprising amount of care into the storytelling in professional wrestling. But if you wish to ask me anything about professional wrestling, if you have anything you're curious about, feel free to ask me now. What about the rest of you? Any questions? Any questions? And of course, upcoming Sunday, 8 o'clock. Obviously, that's New Year's Eve. I am going to do like a look back at 2023 in a way, and I'll be putting out a Google form soon about I want to know from folks what are your top 5 moments of mine in 2023, and You know, I thought that'd be a nice way to have a little recap stream, I suppose, for the year, because I did quite a bit in 2023, didn't I? Nah. Unfortunately, I can definitely feel my throat actually still being a bit strained, actually. Oh, jeez. Because what I had was a upper respiratory tract infection, unfortunately. That's like the official diagnosis. So my throat is still feeling the effects of that. Like, I'm still a little bit like phlegm filled in my throat. Really annoying. Okay, let me just check. So is there anything about my little lecture, I suppose, that you guys didn't understand that you'd like me to explain on? Now is your time. Now is your chance. Now is your chance, folks. Now is your chance. Oh, excuse me. Oh, my throat is in terrible shape, I swear. I swear. Let me just put this away now, I suppose. Let me just put this away. Meow. 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 I just said in cat that I wish I could put on cat ears right now, but I can't. Because I can't use my stream deck now. Unfortunately. Nah. Alright, I think I'm gonna call it here. Folks, I'm gonna call it here. Because my throat's genuinely killing me. Okay, folks. See you soon on upcoming Friday morning, or maybe even Thursday night if you're in Eastern. If you are in Eastern time. Okay, folks. Cafe Cornelius is now closing shop, but may Cafe Cornelius never closing your hearts. Have a lovely night, Mina. Have a lovely